Good afternoon, class. Today I will give you guys my synopsis on chapters 4 through 6. We're going to start with chapter 4, which basically starts with connecting through verbal communication. It basically gives us a definition of what language is, the elements of language, and the basic things that it even takes to start communicating with somebody. So, for example, when you want to communicate, you say things in a certain manner, so you have to start with words, grammar, basic sense instruction to even start communicating with someone. Also, the way you communicate and how people interpret that meaning and how people interpret what you are communicating to them. It also explains the barriers of language. Some of those barriers include using jargon or slang, which everybody might not understand. Also, cultural differences. People from different cultural backgrounds tend to communicate in different ways in different languages. So you have to adjust the way you communicate so that what you're trying to communicate is understood and everybody's on the same page and everybody can understand. Then we go to chapter 5, which is connecting through nonverbal communication. That goes from kinesis, hypnotics, proxemics, silence, and artifacts, which means basically nonverbal communication starts from facial expressions, body language, gestures, eye behavior. Also, so if I'm talking to someone or you talking to me, if I got my arms crossed, then you might take that as a sign of I don't care or I'm not actually listening to you. Or if my eyes are winding, you might think that I'm not listening to you, and it will communicate something different, or it might communicate what I'm feeling to you. Also based off of objects or possessions people own. So if you go in somebody's house and they have like certain artifacts, then you might think that, okay, this is what this person is interested without them actually saying it. It's all non-verbally done. They then go into chapter 6, which is connecting through listening. Chapter 6 basically breaks down the listening project and how to effectively listen to someone and basically give feedback to let someone know that you are listening. So they just explain the difference between hearing and listening. So hearing is one thing. You can hear anything. You can hear noise, but that does not mean you were listening well enough to know exactly what that noise is. They also go through the process of hearing, understanding, remembering, interpreting, evaluating, and responding, which is the basic checklist you go through so that you know that you are listening effectively. So you hear what someone's saying, you make sure you understand it, or you put it in your brain so that you can try to understand it, and you try to interpret it and put what they're saying into your words so that everything is understood and the message is not getting messed up, or that the message and the receiver are on the same page. You evaluate it and you respond as necessary. Another function to listening is listening for info, listening just to evaluate what someone's saying, listening with empathy, so showing feeling when you're listening to let them know you're listening to them. Because like we said, based off of nonverbal communication, facial expressions and so forth also show that you are listening and how effective you're listening, and if you actually are listening. And that's a basic overview of chapters 4 through 6, just basically communicating and how well you communicate and how effective you communicate, also how effective you listen and interpret. Thank you guys. You all have a great day.